This is a Workforce Solutions tutorial on basic problem solving. There are many models for more complex problems. This is more for everyday problems that a quick fix won't solve. We probably already know the basic steps to problem solving. We just don't do them well for big problems. So we'll review those steps and what you should do. We'll see that big problems require more work. We'll understand that we need to take all the steps. And finally, understand the two biggest mistakes in problem solving. Many times, problems are simple, and it doesn't take much to find a solution. Here the person finds out they've gained some weight. You know what needs to be done, fewer calories. You also talk to your physician assistant for information. There may be other solutions, but this is the one you know. Your solution has small success, but it's not enough. So you did some corrective steering and improved your results. You monitor and decide how much longer to go with this based on the evidence so far to lose that 10 pounds. You monitor and decide how much longer to go with this solution based on the evidence so far to lose that 10 pounds. You implement a strategy to keep it from reoccurring. We solve problems every day without a great deal of difficulty. For example, what to have for dinner, buy it or make it, what should you use, and so on. There's no need for elaborate problem-solving methods, but then a big problem comes along and we try to solve it the quick way we did before. We're not aware of the steps we take to solve a problem, so we rush or we skip some. A more complex problem involves taking the steps methodically, delving into each one. There's no quick answer. There might be many doors to the right solution. But just because one answer looks bright and is the first one you think of, is it the right answer? How do you solve this? If you recall the steps in the original weight loss example, they are the steps you go through to solve the problem. You already know them. You need to be more organized, though, for bigger problems. A. Identify the problem. B. Get to the bottom of it. C. Talk to others. D. Identify the fix to the problem. And E. Implement, then steer. For bigger problems, you need to work on each step to ensure you get to the right solution. First, identify the problem. I'm overweight, from our example. Then, get to the bottom of it. Why did it happen? Too many calories. Then, talk to others. In this case, she will talk to her physician assistant, but it could be other people. Identify the fix to the solution. Her first solution was to cut out coffee sugar. Implement it. She started cutting out coffee sugar. She monitored. She made changes when the first action didn't work. She added a 20% calorie cut. She monitored. She was successful. And then she took action to prevent occurrence. She continued a lower calorie reduction. In the simple problem above, an answer could have been too little exercise, but she didn't explore another cause. She didn't really need to. For big problems, the steps are the same, but you want to spend more time with them. For example, look at all the possible solutions and figure out the best one. So let's take a look at each step. For an actual problem, you might want to use some paper or software to record each step's results. One of the biggest errors in problem solving is the cause is often not identified well. People tend to shortchange this step since they have successfully solved simple issues. Write down the problem. Be specific. Don't try to guess the motives of who may be involved. Be factual. If the problem is Donnie is not keeping up with his goal, don't say the work didn't get done because Donnie was lazy. But instead, Donnie had 15 units a day to fabricate, but he did 12 Tuesday and 13 Wednesday. Then write down any emotions yourself or others. This helps identify a problem that fixes the issue, not the emotion or judgment, and also if the emotion is driving the problem. Get to the bottom of it. List all the reasons why it might have happened. A problem rarely has one single cause. What contributed to it? Why did it happen? When, what, why, how? What's the impact? This is the time to brainstorm. No matter what the cause you think of, write it down. Don't analyze it yet. Now rank or reorder them in importance. Now that you can critically think about each one and eliminate the ones that don't apply. A problem rarely has one single issue, remember? What contributed to it, why it happened. Using our Donnie example, it could be lack of training, poor workplace setup, distractions, or any other things. Talk to others. Find out if there's others with this issue and get their feedback. Find a friend or coworker to review what you've done, or someone who had a similar problem. They can bring a perspective you may not have. Plus, you can get so caught up in a problem you struggle with it. Perhaps it's also someone who can help with a solution. Now that you've identified likely causes after defining the problem, talk to other people. It's time to fix the problem. What's the outcome you'd like most? What will that look like if successful? What are the outcomes? And what might be less than that, but you can live with it? List all the probable solutions without judging. Then evaluate them for effectiveness, quality, and desired outcome. Develop a plan to implement the solution you've arrived at, including what it would look like when successful. Evaluate your solution and make tweaks if necessary. Make sure you have measures to determine success. Don't forget to have action to prevent reoccurrence if needed. Now put your plan into place. Monitor the results to see it achieves what you want. Do you need to make steering corrections? Don't forget to implement action to prevent a reoccurrence if needed. Here's some common problem-solving mistakes. Most of them go under two categories: procrastinating and rushing. Procrastinating is one of the biggest problem-solving mistakes. You usually see these things happen when the problem solver is procrastinating is happening as follows. The person engages in wishful thinking. You delay thinking because it'll solve itself. You think everyone else knows, so you don't have to address it. Then it grows over in time into a major issue. Looking for someone to blame instead of taking on the problems and the facts. Refusing to acknowledge when a solution is not working. Okay, you've taken action to solve the problem, but it's not working, but you keep hoping it will. Not being flexible or adaptable. You can't arrive at a solution because you're not willing to change or think everyone else should. And finally, overanalyzing. The person seems to be spending all their time analyzing, but they never pick a solution. Rushing is usually going too fast to a solution and then getting confused when the solution doesn't work. You usually see these things happen when the problem solver is rushing. They look for quick fixes and for poorly defined solutions. They rush something in place and it just doesn't work. They fix the symptoms. So the equipment isn't working right because the engine is noisy. So you put a sound insulation on it. The engine has still got a problem. Focus on putting out small fires. You spend too much time trying to fix the little things that happen as a result of the problem without addressing the basic problem. And finally, not listening to others or not seeking feedback, being convinced that your problem is the only one and you just fire on. So, you probably understand and know the basic steps. You just don't use them in an organized fashion. We reviewed the 5 basic steps and understand that a larger problem involves spending time on each step and how to take them. Finally, we've looked at the 2 biggest problem-solving mistakes and what the behaviors are that appear behind each one.